Well, hello everybody and happy Sunday. How are you? My name is Scott Pinyard. I am the head coach here at This Naked Mind, and I am here, like I am almost every Sunday, to talk about things that I see, to talk about things that I've been thinking about, things that I see in our groups, things that I hear people talking about. And so I want to do that today. Today I want to talk about positivity, probably not in the way you think. So stay tuned. That will be interesting. And I want to encourage you to say hello to me. Drop your questions here in the chat. Drop your comments here in the chat. I always love to hear that. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Good morning in Australia. I'm glad you're here. So we're going to talk about positivity, but before I do that, I want to give you an invitation. I want to, Maria caught me that what went on with take one. What went on with take one is I felt like my voice was going to go out, so I had to stop. But now you've destroyed the illusion, Maria. I want to invite you to join Annie and I for a completely free 5-day live virtual event. It's going to be happening right here on Facebook. The link is in the description. Look, this event is all about what to do if you start to feel like, hey, I'm trying to get in control after the holidays. It's been a new year. I've tried different things. I want to do different things. How do I do this, right? How do I actually make a shift? We're going to tell you all of that. So every day for 5 days, Annie and I are going to go live together. We're going to talk through this exact thing. These live events are incredibly fun, and I want to invite you to join us. Again, it's 100% free. So go to the link in the description. It's very long. I'm not going to read it out, but in that link, you'll be able to find where you can sign up, and you can join us. The event starts on February 7th, so we're a couple of weeks away, but I would love to see you there. Okay, let's talk positivity, right? I did my live last week talking about state, and it really is. Oh, hey, Jim, how's it going? Marita in Australia, hello, hello. Susan, I'm glad you're here, Susan. And Marie, south of France, I'm pretty jealous of that. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? So positivity, right? Last week, I talked about this idea of state, right? And doing things that you can do to set your state. I mean, we do this all the time, right? All the time at This Naked Mind. We constantly, like last week, the week before last, I was in Denver. We had music playing all the time. We were goofing around all the time, all intentionally to set our state in the right place so that when we go live, when we do things, we feel good. Now, here's the thing. That is a tool. That is not the only tool. And the question I get a lot is, Scott, well, what if it doesn't work? Right? What if it doesn't work? What if I put on a song and I don't feel good? Or what if I feel like, man, I don't know, I'm listening to this song, I'm trying to dance, but I still feel bummed or I still feel angry. You'll often hear people talk about how important it is to stay positive. And actually, I believe in the idea of positivity, but in a lot of ways, it's not true. Right? And the question that I get is like, well, what if I don't feel positive? Right? What if I don't feel good? And I get it, right? Like in certain situations, positivity can help us, right? When we need a boost, when we need help pushing through a tough time, but sometimes we don't feel positive. And so the idea that, I don't feel positive and I don't want to feel positive kind of comes to mind. And, you've probably had this experience before. Like if you think about it, you ever had the experience where you tried to put yourself in a good mood? You tried to think positive thoughts, and it just didn't work, right? And maybe it even made you feel worse than when you first started trying it. Hopefully I'm not alone in this. But what I want to talk about is that positivity isn't always the answer. And forcing ourselves to be positive doesn't always help. As a matter of sometimes it can hurt, right? So it's funny because we try to think positive thoughts. We try to say, okay, I'm going to be positive, right? I'm going to think happy thoughts, right? I am having a hard time with alcohol, so I'm going to think, I'm going to push through this. Or I'm going to think, man, I'm going to nip this in the bud. But the reality is that, even though you've tried a whole bunch of times, you think this thought, I'm going to get there, and then you just don't believe it. And what happens when we don't believe it is we create cognitive dissonance, right? Thinking a thought that you know isn't true sets off all types of alarm bells in your brain. So when someone comes to you and says, hey, you can totally do this, just be positive, right? Think positive thoughts. If you don't believe those thoughts that you're thinking, you're going to start a mental war with yourself. And it's not fun. And I've seen this so many times, right? I've seen so many people come into our programs and they want to change so bad. So they decide, like, I'm going to be really positive about this, right? Like, I'm going to use affirmations. I'm going to do all of these things, and it just doesn't work. And here's why. No matter what you're trying to be positive about, if you don't believe it, it's not going to work. You're not going to feel better. There is such a thing as toxic positivity. I know that's a weird phrase, but it is a real thing, right? This is where you feel like, oh, I must be positive, right? I'm around all of these people who are positive. So like, I'm going to force myself to be positive. And then like, we're trying so hard to be positive and we're ignoring the negative emotions that are coming up. We're just like trying to crush them down with positive thinking. And I'm just going to ignore it. It makes us feel worse. I've been there. I've been in those places before where like, I feel like, oh, I have to be positive. Like this is something I need to do. Yet all that positive thinking doesn't really do things for me, right? It doesn't really help me like work through the process. So what do? Right? And that's what I wanted to talk about, because this idea of positive thinking, or like I was talking about last week with changing your state, that works for me most of the time, but sometimes it doesn't. So what? Well, first and foremost, I want to tell you something, and this is probably something that at some point you knew, but we all get so caught up in our lives and what we're doing every day and everything else. We forget the idea that we are not supposed to feel happy all the time. I mean, we're sold that, right? We're sold that everywhere we look. We're sold that when on social media. We're sold that in advertising and movies and TV. Like everywhere we look is this idea like, oh, we're always supposed to be happy and like everyone's happy. It's just not true. Right? This idea that we should always be happy isn't true. So if you find yourself in that situation where you're like, man, I'm just got to be positive and push myself through this. If you don't feel happy, you don't feel happy. And that's okay. And if we accept that we're not supposed to feel this way all the time, then we can be free to actually work through it. Because here's what I see, right? What I see is people trying so hard to be positive, trying so hard to work through all of this, trying so hard to actually like push ourselves together, push ourselves through it, that we end up in this situation where we feel so incredibly unhappy, yet we're trying to be positive. So the first step to this is to admit, you know what? Fine. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I don't feel excited about this journey. I don't feel happy about where I'm going. And then after that, we have the opportunity to work through it. One of my favorite quotes on this is from Robert Frost, from a poem he wrote called Servant of Servants. And it's this: the way out is through. See, one of the things that happens so often with this idea of working through these negative emotions, or dealing with, if you were working through trying to change your relationship with alcohol, for so long, what we try to do is we try to avoid those emotions, right? We try to run away from those emotions. We try to run away from those thoughts or situations that we don't want to deal with. And by the way, this is not just an alcohol thing. This is a human thing, right? Humans do this. In general, we run away from pain and toward pleasure. But the way out is through. So when you're in this situation and you've tried to be positive and it's not working, or you just don't feel like being positive, that's okay. And it's amazing to me when I talk to people how when I remind them of that, it's almost like they don't give themselves permission to feel bad. And then they feel bad, but then on top of feeling bad, they feel bad about feeling bad, and they make the whole thing worse. So the way out is through. And what this means is going through this emotion, leaning into this emotion, and exploring it. One thing that someone said to me one time, which has really, really stuck with me about this idea of, you know what, I don't feel great right now. I can't seem to like work myself up into a positive state. One thing someone told me was this: no one's ever died from an emotion, right? Like, we might be really afraid of it. We might be scared. We are in a situation where we try to tell ourselves, like, I can't go through this. I can't experience this. But the way out is through. So experiencing this, right? You can let go of the idea that you should be happy and just allow the way that you feel to be the way that you feel. And you know what happens when you do that? It runs its course, right? It's temporary. So the next time you're feeling this way, the next time you're feeling like, wow, I am definitely struggling to move through this. I am definitely feeling resistance to an emotion. And I've tried to do the things, right? I've tried to go out and be with friends. I've tried to change my state. I've tried to be positive. You end up in a situation where nothing works. Just allow it. Just allow it. And one of my favorite ways to allow it, and the way that I do this myself, is I actually sit down and close my eyes and really try to feel the feeling, whatever that might be, right? Whether it's frustration or anger or sadness. I try to actively walk into it because I know that it dissipates. So the next time you're stuck with this, the next time you feel like, and I'm going to get to the comments in a second. Sorry, guys. Facebook's changed it, so I have to open it on my iPad. But the next time you feel this way, the next time you feel like, man, I don't know where to turn, I don't know what to do, just allow yourself to feel it. Allow it. Explore it. Then you can let it go. The way out is through. So, that was a shorter message than I normally have, but I feel like this idea is something that we need to repeat to ourselves over and over and over, because again, we're sold this idea like all of, you should never be unhappy, you should never be let down, you should never feel bad, and it's just not true. So if you're feeling that way, the idea is to allow it to happen and then move yourself through it. And you can do it. And coming here for support, connecting with friends or family members for support, that's how you can heal. So you do not need to be positive all the time. You do not need to force positive thinking. Even though you see us, we're always on here smiling, and positivity is a big part of what we do at this company. It's not a requirement for you. It's not a requirement for me or Annie, right? None of us feel positive all the time. And reminding ourselves that is okay and allowing it to happen is how we can move through it. So let me talk to some of the comments here. Let's see. Oh, Marita asked me a question about the path. I will happily answer that. Marita said, in the coach-led path, are the coaches in our time zone? I'm in Australia. So we do have some Australian coaches. We also have call times that are all over the map. So we've been running this program for people around the globe for years now. So we always set up schedules so that people can make at least 1 or 2 calls a week in their particular time zone. But we do have some coaches in Australia, yes. Let's see. Jeff asked sign up money. I think maybe you're asking Jeff about Jeff and Shelly. You're asking about the virtual event. The virtual event's 100% free. So if you want to join us for that, please do sign up. Like, again, it's totally free there. Let's see. Jen in Virginia. Hello, Jen. Oh, there we go. Jenny already answered that. Jenny, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Sue says, good evening, Scott. I'm still here now on day 23, and I'm more than bloody chuffed this weekend. Yes. Congratulations. It's such a huge thing. It's so funny, like, this process, which I see it so often. Like, I see these these questions and these things pop up where people go through the live alcohol experiment. They're like, I cannot believe I'm on day 23. I cannot believe I'm on day 24. So I love to hear that. So thank you. Thank you for telling me that, Sue. And super congratulations. I think that's awesome. Let's see. Jeff and Shelly, I'm not totally sure what you're asking here. Yeah, Jeff and Shelly, I'm going to let that go. I'm not totally sure what you're saying there. Yeah, Maria says the way out is definitely through and taking one moment at a time. Man, it takes so much to just allow ourselves to do that. And this is something I noticed, when I went through this process, I was so resistant to feeling anything negative, right? And I absolutely felt like I want to, like shy away. Like I want to like shrink away from the whole thing. And the reality is it's not the way that we're meant to be, right? Like it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be down. And when we resist these things, we actually make them worse. We make the entire experience worse. So let's see. Maureen in Spain said, I needed this, all of this. I feel my feelings hard. Thanks for making me feel better about it. Yeah, Maureen. Yeah, it's funny. I'm not laughing at you, just to be clear. I'm laughing at myself. Because now going through this stuff, now I don't have a problem leaning into it. I don't have a problem leaning away from it. I really, have found that for me, this is where so much growth comes from. This is where so many things come from, right? It comes from the space of like, man, I want to, that negative emotion is there to teach me something. And when I've taken that approach, right? When I've taken that mindset with it, and when I've been, honest with myself that it's okay not to feel okay, man, the whole journey is just much easier. So I'm glad that was helpful for you, Maureen. Let's see. Rachel says, good morning, day 2, and appreciate every one of you. We appreciate you, and thank you for sharing, and super congratulations on day 2. That is awesome, Rachel. Let's see. Awesome. Great. I made it to the end of the comments. So again, Jeff and Shelly, I'm sorry, I can't tell what you're asking. So yeah, hopefully some other time we can connect and I'll be happy to answer that for you. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are not feeling the way you want to feel, where you are not feeling good, where you are resisting not feeling good, remember that the way out is through. There is support for you. There are people to connect with. And if you don't feel okay, that's okay, right? These ideas of these tools of being able to change things and being able to change our state are great, but they're not always sufficient. So allow yourself to feel, right? Allow yourself to connect. And that's what makes a huge difference. A few more people said hi. Kylie in Australia. Hello, Kylie in Australia. You bet, Jenny. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Anne Marie says, still will continue. Have had too many data points. Also join other groups on Zoom. Sharing our problems and support helps. Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging out with me today. I will be back next Sunday with some more thoughts. And so until then, take care. We'll see you soon.